I was scrolling through my phone when Adrian walked in, his smile making my heart skip a beat. "Hey, I got your favorite latte," he said, holding it out to me. "You're too good to me," I replied, taking it. He leaned down, kissed my cheek and whispered, "You deserve the world and I'll give it to you." I grinned, feeling that warm bubble of happiness that never seemed to fade when he was around. Later, Lily called, her voice sharp with concern. "Are you sure about him?" she asked. I laughed, shaking my head. "Of course. Adrian, he's perfect, Lil. Don't start." She hesitated. You seem a little too blinded by him. Watch out for little things. You know how I worry." I rolled my eyes, brushing it off. "I trust him, Lily. That's enough." Adrian came over and plopped next to me on the couch, nudging me playfully. "What are you two whispering about?" he teased. "Nothing important," I said, hoping to hide Lily's warnings. He chuckled and wrapped his arm around me. "You worry too much. I'm here always." I rested my head on his shoulder, feeling safe, even as a tiny doubt flickered when I caught him glance at his phone a little too fast. I shook it away. "I'm fine," I told myself, sipping my latte. "Just imagining things." Later that night, we were in bed talking about our future. "One day we'll have a place of our own," Adrian said, his eyes serious but soft. "A house with a little garden, maybe a dog." I laughed. "A dog, really? You hate pets." He smiled. "Not if it's ours. I promise." I squeezed his hand. "I believe you." I wanted to believe it with all my heart. Then my phone buzzed. I saw a text notification pop up on Adrian's device, but before I could glance properly, he grabbed it. "Oh, just a work thing," he said, locking the screen. I nodded, trusting him instantly, though a tiny knot twisted in my stomach. The next morning, I met Lily for coffee, still smiling about Adrian's promises. "He's not hiding anything from you, is he?" she asked quietly. I waved her off. "Lily, you worry too much. He's perfect. I see it, everyone sees it. He loves me, and that's all that matters." She sighed, unconvinced, but didn't push further. I went home, Adrian waiting at the door with that same charming grin. "Good morning, beautiful," he said. "I thought we could plan our weekend. Maybe look at apartments." My heart swelled. "Really?" He nodded, taking my hand. "Yes. Our future starts now." I smiled, feeling the happiness I'd never wanted to question, unaware of the shadows that were quietly creeping into the perfect life I thought I had. I noticed the first odd thing when Adrian stayed late at work again. "Dinner's ready," I called, but he didn't answer. When he finally walked in, his eyes were tired and he avoided mine. "Busy day," he muttered. "You okay?" I asked, trying to keep my tone light. "Yeah, just meetings," he replied, glancing at his phone too quickly. I frowned but let it go, convincing myself I was imagining things. Later, Lily called. "He's hiding something," she said bluntly. "I can feel it. You need to check." I laughed nervously. "Lily, you're paranoid. Maybe he's just stressed." She scoffed. "You're letting love blind you. Just keep your eyes open, okay?" I promised, though unease gnawed at me. The next evening, Adrian rushed in, phone glued to his hand. "Hey, I'm starving. What's for dinner?" I asked. "Pasta sounds good," he said quickly. "Sure," I replied, trying to ignore the way he avoided my gaze. I set the table silently, thinking, am I really overreacting? I wanted to trust him, but my instincts whispered otherwise. "You've been distant lately," I said finally, trying not to sound accusatory. He froze for a second. "What?" "No, I'm fine," he said, forcing a smile. "Really?" I pressed. Work is stressful." I nodded, but the tiny knot in my chest tightened. Lily texted me during dinner. "Check his phone." Just once. I ignored it, swallowing my growing panic. Later, I asked Adrian about a message I saw pop up on his screen. "It was nothing," he said quickly, sliding his phone into his pocket. "Nothing." I echoed, my voice sharper than intended. "Yeah, work stuff," he insisted. I wanted to believe him, but the unease wouldn't leave. "Okay," I whispered, staring down at my plate. I felt guilty for doubting him, yet my heart raced with suspicion. A minor fight erupted that night over something trivial. "You never listened to me," I shouted, frustration spilling out. I do, he snapped back, his voice tight. No, you just brush everything aside. I paced the living room, anger and worry twisting inside me. He ran a hand through his hair, sighing. Why are you making a big deal out of nothing? Because it doesn't feel like nothing, I yelled. Then silence fell, heavy and awkward. We both stared at each other, breathing fast. I felt that pit of guilt mixed with doubt gnawing at me. Later, Lily's voice rang in my head. He's hiding something. Trust your instincts. I curled up on the couch, hugging my knees. Maybe I am imagining things, I muttered to myself, tears threatening. But why do I feel like I'm losing him already? The phone buzzed. Another late-night message from Adrian, and he silenced it immediately. My heart raced. I wanted to ask, to demand the truth, but fear held me back. I whispered to the empty room. I can't lose this, not now. Shadows lingered behind his smiles, and I couldn't shake the feeling that my perfect life was starting to crack, one lie at a time. I was making tea when Adrian's phone buzzed on the counter. I glanced at it and froze. The notification had vanished almost instantly, but I caught a glimpse of a deleted message. My stomach lurched. What was that? I whispered to myself, heart hammering. I tried to shake it off, telling myself I was imagining things, but the look on his face when he reached for it made me pause. Hey, are you okay? He asked, glancing at me casually. Yeah, fine, I said, forcing a smile, my hands trembling slightly. You sure? You look distracted. I swallowed, nodding. Just thinking about work. Later, Lily called. You sound off. What's going on? She asked immediately. I hesitated. I don't know. I saw something on his phone, but he deleted it so fast I barely caught it. Her voice sharpened. You need to find out. Don't ignore it. I laughed nervously. Lily, I can't just snoop. That's crossing a line. She was silent for a moment. Sometimes, lines get blurry when someone you love is hiding the truth. Trust me. Check it. I pressed my hand to my mouth, unsure. I don't know. What if I'm overreacting? She sighed. Then you'll at least have closure. Don't let doubt eat you alive. Adrian walked into the kitchen, interrupting my thoughts. Tea? He asked, raising the kettle. Sure, I said, keeping my voice steady. I watched him, trying to read his expression. You've been quiet all evening, he remarked. Just tired, I lied, stirring my tea. You know you can tell me anything, right? He added, eyes searching mine. I nodded, swallowing hard. Of course, I said, forcing normalcy, though my mind spun with questions. Every glance, every movement, felt loaded with hidden meaning. Later that night, I sat on the couch, replaying every moment with him in my head. Was that text meant for me? Or someone else? Did he ever lie before? I whispered aloud. Why would he hide it? My phone buzzed. Another message from Lily. Trust your instincts. Find out before it's too late. I hesitated, then whispered. Maybe I should see for myself. My hands shook as I imagined what I might discover. Fear clawed at me, but curiosity burned brighter. I need to know, I muttered. I can't live in doubt forever. The next morning, Adrian left for work, and I lingered in the kitchen, glancing at his phone again. I told myself it was just checking, not snooping, but my heart raced as I unlocked it quickly. A string of messages appeared, some deleted, some half-hidden. One in particular made my chest tighten. It was flirty, intimate, and obviously not meant for me. I gasped and dropped the phone, covering my mouth. No, this can't be real, I whispered. Every memory flashed before me. The late nights, the hidden smiles, the casual lies. I questioned every word he ever said. Lily's voice echoed in my mind. You need the truth. I sank onto the couch, clutching my knees. I can't believe this, I murmured, tears threatening. I felt torn between confronting him immediately or staying silent to gather proof. Every instinct screamed at me to act, but fear and love warred inside. I trusted you, I whispered into the empty room. And now I don't even know who you are. The thought of facing him terrified me, but I knew I couldn't ignore it. By the end of the night, I made my decision. I would find out the full truth, no matter what it meant. I whispered, I'll check just once. I need to know. Shadows of doubt lingered behind every smile Adrian had given me, and my perfect life seemed to teeter on the edge of something dark. The deleted message had changed everything, and I realized that nothing would ever feel safe again unless I uncovered the truth myself. I found it that evening, tucked away in a corner of his phone, messages from another woman. I couldn't breathe. How could you? I whispered to myself, staring at the screen. The texts were flirty, intimate, and utterly real. My hands shook as I scrolled, seeing names, dates, and little inside jokes I had never known. I remembered his excuse about a work trip last week. I whispered angrily, "You lied. All of it." My chest tightened, a mix of humiliation, heartbreak, and rage twisting inside me. Lily's voice rang in my ear. "Talk to me. Tell me what's going on," she said when I called her. "It's Adrian," I stammered. "He's been texting someone else. He lied about his trips, everything." She was silent for a moment. "I told you to trust your instincts." "I'm so sorry, but you deserve better." I felt tears prick my eyes. "I loved him, Lily. I don't even know what I feel." "It's okay to be angry, sad, and confused," she said softly. "You're not alone. We'll figure this out together." I drew in a shaky breath. I don't want to believe it, but it's all here. How did I not see it? The next day at work, I tried to focus, but my mind kept replaying the messages. When a colleague, Mara, asked, "Are you okay? You look exhausted." I forced a smile. "I'm fine, thanks." But the concern in her eyes made me feel exposed. My friends whispered occasionally, glances full of curiosity or pity. I muttered to myself, "I can't let anyone see me break." But inside I was crumbling. Every lie replayed in my head. Late nights, missed calls, half-truths, and the humiliation burned like fire. That night I confronted Adrian. "Why?" I asked, voice trembling. "Why would you do this?" He avoided my eyes, sighing. "It wasn't what it looked like," he said quickly. Not what it looked like?" I interrupted, my voice rising. "I see the messages. I see the dates. I see the lies. How is that not exactly what it looks like?" He ran a hand through his hair. I didn't want to hurt you. I didn't know how to tell you. How could you even think hiding this was okay?" I shouted. Tears blurred my vision. "I trusted you with everything." Later, Lily came over, her arms wrapping around me. "You don't have to deal with this alone," she whispered. I cried into her shoulder, muttering, "I thought he was different. I thought I could trust him completely. I feel so stupid." She held me tighter. "You're not stupid. You loved, and that's brave. The problem is him, not you. Remember that." I nodded, but the knot in my chest remained. Every memory of him felt tainted. Every smile a mask hiding deceit. Before bed, I sat on the couch, replaying everything. How did I miss all the signs? I murmured, hugging a pillow. My phone buzzed. Another message from Lily. "You're stronger than you think. Don't let him break you." I typed back shakily, "I don't know if I can forgive myself for trusting him." She replied instantly, "You're not to blame. He chose this. You didn't." I rested my head back, staring at the ceiling, heart heavy, mind racing. Cracks had formed in the world I thought I knew. And for the first time, I realized that nothing would feel safe again until I confronted the truth completely. I waited for him in the living room, my hands shaking. "We need to talk," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. He looked up from his phone, brows furrowing. "About what?" he asked, casual, too casual. I swallowed hard, stepping closer. "Don't lie to me, Adrian. I know about her." His face went pale and he dropped the phone onto the couch. I can explain," he stammered. My chest tightened. "Explain? You cheated. You lied. How is there anything left to explain?" He ran a hand through his hair, looking desperate. "It wasn't meant to happen like this. I never wanted to hurt you," he said, voice cracking. I laughed bitterly, anger boiling up. "Not meant to happen? I trusted you with everything. I gave you my heart, and you threw it away." He took a step toward me. "Please just listen. I messed up, but I still love you. I swear it meant nothing." I shook my head, feeling tears sting my eyes. "Nothing? You think it's nothing? Do you know what it feels like to watch the person you love smile at someone else in secret?" His shoulders slumped. I didn't know how to stop it. I tried, but I cut him off, my voice sharp. "Tried? You never stopped. You let it go on. Every lie, every excuse, every late night. It was all part of the betrayal. I paced the room, fists clenched, and he followed, pleading. I never wanted this to happen between us. I was confused. I made a mistake, a terrible mistake. I scoffed, bitter laughter escaping me. A mistake? Is that what you call ruining everything we had? Do you know how humiliated I feel, how stupid I feel? He dropped to his knees, desperation raw. I'll do anything to fix it. Anything. I stopped staring at him, fury and heartbreak clashing inside me. You think there's anything left to fix? You can't undo this, Adrian. Nothing you do can erase the betrayal. His eyes filled with tears. I love you. I love you so much. Please don't leave me. I shook my head, voice breaking. Love? Love doesn't hide, love doesn't lie, and love certainly doesn't cheat. I grabbed my coat, my hands trembling, and headed for the door. I can't stay here. I can't be with someone who destroyed my trust, I said, my voice low but firm. He ran after me. Please just don't go. I'll do anything, I swear. I opened the door and faced him one last time. You already destroyed everything, Adrian. I loved you. I trusted you. And that's enough for me to walk away. Outside, the cold air hit my face, but I felt nothing. My heart was heavy, my mind racing through every lie, every smile, every time I believed in him blindly. I whispered to myself, how could I have been so wrong? How did I not see the signs? My chest ached with grief and fury, a mix that made it hard to breathe. I walked down the street without looking back, each step heavier than the last, wondering how I could have let someone I loved so deeply betray me so completely. By the time I reached Lily's apartment, my hands were shaking uncontrollably. She opened the door before I could knock. Oh my God, what happened? She asked, pulling me inside. I slumped onto the couch, covering my face. He admitted it, I whispered. I can't believe he did this. I can't believe I let myself be so blind. Lily held me, murmuring softly, it's not your fault. You loved him and he failed you. That's on him, not you. I nodded, but the weight of betrayal pressed down on me, suffocating. Every memory of him now carried the sting of deceit, and I realized that moving forward would mean surviving a wound I didn't yet know how to heal. I stayed in my apartment for days, avoiding calls and texts. My phone buzzed constantly, but I didn't answer. You need to eat, Lily said when she came over, setting a plate of food on the table. I'm not hungry, I muttered, staring blankly at the wall. She sat across from me. You can't survive like this. You have to take care of yourself. I shook my head. I don't even know how to exist without him. She reached over, touching my hand. You will. Promise. One step at a time. At night I couldn't sleep. I kept seeing his face, his lies playing over and over. Why did I trust him so blindly? I whispered to myself. My mind wandered into darker corners, revenge, exposure, making him feel what I felt. No, I said aloud, shaking my head. That's not me. That's not what I want. Maybe I just need to heal. I pressed my palms to my eyes, feeling the exhaustion settle deep in my bones. The next morning I forced myself to go outside. Lily waited for me, coffee in hand. Ready? She asked gently. I don't know if I am, I admitted. You're stronger than you think, she said, handing me the cup. I sipped slowly, savoring the warmth. I keep thinking about confronting him, about making him regret everything, I confessed. She frowned slightly. Is that really what you want? Or do you just want to feel better? I stayed quiet, staring at the street, realizing she was right. The anger was a temptation, but I didn't want it to consume me. Later, I scheduled a session with Dr. Myers, the therapist Lily recommended. I don't even know where to start, I admitted, sitting stiffly in the chair. He nodded, kind eyes watching me. Start with what you feel right now, he said softly. Everything hurts, I whispered. I feel betrayed, angry, ashamed, and empty. He leaned forward slightly. All of that is valid. But you survived it, and that means you can rebuild. Healing is your choice, not his consequences. I exhaled shakily, realizing he was right. I had been frozen in pain instead of taking control. At work, I struggled to focus. You okay? My colleague asked as I stared at my computer. I nodded quickly. Just tired. Every memory of Adrian haunted me. The way he smiled, lied, and promised. But Lily's voice echoed in my mind, one step at a time. I started small, answering emails, organizing files, pretending, but gradually feeling some sense of control return. That evening I spoke to Lily again. I thought I wanted revenge, I said quietly. But maybe I just need myself back. She smiled. That's all anyone can ask for. I felt the weight on my chest loosen just a little. For the first time since the betrayal, I realized that the path forward wasn't about him. It was about me, piecing together a heart that had felt irreparably broken. And though the ache remained, I knew I could survive it. I sat at my kitchen table, laptop open, staring at Adrian's messages again. I can't let him get away with this, I muttered to myself. Lily on speakerphone leaned against the counter. Be careful, okay? Don't let anger cloud your judgment, she said gently. I nodded, gripping the edge of the table. I'm not going to yell or humiliate him. I just need him to feel the weight of what he did. The next day I cornered Sam from work, a quiet ally I trusted. I need your help, I whispered as we stepped into the empty break room. His eyes widened. With what? Adrian. He's been lying, cheating. I want to make sure the truth comes out without, drama. Can you help me track emails, messages, anything he's tried to hide? Sam nodded slowly. I can do that. You're sure you want to go this route? I exhaled sharply. I have to. I can't just let him pretend nothing happened. Later I texted Lily. He's going to see the consequences soon. Not through me yelling but by showing the truth. Her reply came instantly. Be smart. Don't let him manipulate your emotions. I typed back, I know. I'm not him. I'll be careful. That evening I met with Sam again. Look at this, he whispered, sliding a folder across the table. It contained copies of messages, screenshots of lies, and details of Adrian's work trips that were clearly false. You have everything you need, Sam said softly. Use it wisely. I nodded, stomach tight, feeling a dangerous mix of fear and satisfaction. This isn't revenge, I said quietly. It's justice. The next day I invited Lily over. We need to plan the next steps carefully, I said, pacing. I don't want to humiliate him publicly, but I want the truth undeniable. Friends, colleagues, everyone needs to know he lied. She frowned. Be precise. If you expose him without proof, you could backfire. I rubbed my temples. I know. I've got the evidence lined up. It's subtle, but it will work. Meanwhile, every interaction with Adrian felt like walking on a knife's edge. You've been distant, he said one evening, leaning against the doorway. I'm just tired, I replied, voice calm, betraying nothing. He studied me suspiciously. Are you hiding something? I smiled faintly. Maybe, I said softly. Maybe I'm seeing things more clearly now. He frowned, uncertainty flickering in his eyes. I rehearsed what I'd say in my head, keeping my emotions under tight control. I won't let you ruin everything for me, I whispered, thinking of how carefully I had gathered proof. I even imagined the other woman, her messages, her involvement, though she hadn't done anything overtly cruel. I had to stay above that, but knowing she existed made the game feel sharper, more tense. That night, Lily and I went over the final plan. Tomorrow, I said, we let it all slip out naturally. Subtle comments, shared emails, facts that can't be denied. Lily nodded. You're in control. You're not acting on pain, you're acting on truth. I looked at her, feeling the weight of what I was about to do. I just want him to realize that what he did has consequences. That's all. I went to bed heart racing, thinking of Adrian's smile and his lies. I'm not the same person who trusted blindly, I whispered to the dark room. I'm careful now. I'm in control. And he's going to see that. Shadows flickered across my ceiling, but I felt a strange clarity, a dangerous thrill of power tempered with justice. Tomorrow the game would begin. I overheard some colleagues whispering about Adrian at work. Did you hear about his project? One said. Apparently he missed the deadline, and no one could get him on the phone. I bit my lip, listening without speaking. A small part of me felt satisfaction, but guilt quickly followed. Why does it feel good to see him stumble? I asked myself, shaking my head. I shouldn't be glad, I muttered quietly to my coffee cup. Lily texted me later. Are you okay? Don't let this consume you. I typed back, I'm fine. It's weird seeing him unravel without me doing anything. She replied instantly. That's the universe, not you. Remember, you're healing too. I smiled faintly. I wanted to believe her. That evening, I met Sam from work in the break room. I noticed Adrian's acting off, I said quietly. People are starting to doubt him. Sam shrugged. He always counted on his charm. Now it's not enough. I nodded, the mixture of triumph and unease settling in my chest. It's strange. I wanted him to face consequences, but watching it feels hollow. Like I'm supposed to be happy, but I'm not. Sam frowned. That's normal. Karma isn't always satisfying in the moment. The next day, a message popped up from another colleague. He got called out in the meeting again. Boss wasn't pleased. I stared at it, my stomach twisting. I whispered, "This is what I wanted, right?" But as I watched my coworker smirk subtly whenever he stumbled, I felt a pang of discomfort. Am I enjoying this too much? I wondered. I sipped my coffee, thinking about how I used to imagine revenge, yet now that it was happening naturally it felt strange, almost empty. At lunch Lily called. "How are you holding up?" she asked. "It's weird," I admitted. Seeing him struggle, knowing he lied to me, but it doesn't fill the emptiness. I feel relief, yes, but also sadness. I thought I wanted revenge, but maybe what I need is peace. She chuckled softly. Exactly. Revenge doesn't heal. Only you can do that. Focus on yourself, not his mistakes. I nodded, feeling a bit lighter. Later, Adrian stumbled at a small team presentation. "I'm sorry, I misread the numbers," he muttered, red-faced. His colleagues exchanged concerned looks. I stayed quiet, my hands folded on the table, heart racing. He's paying the price, but it's not satisfying. Not really. I realized that my focus on him had been distracting me from my own healing. I whispered under my breath, "This isn't about him anymore. It's about me finding myself again." That night I sat on my balcony, staring at the city lights. I thought about everything. His lies, his betrayals, the subtle unraveling I'd witnessed. "I don't hate him," I murmured. "I just don't want him in my life. I want closure. I want to be free." My phone buzzed, Lily checking in. I typed back, "I think I understand now. Karma is doing its work, but I need to heal too." I leaned back, exhaling, realizing that watching Adrian face consequences wasn't enough. My real victory would be reclaiming my peace and my life. I ran into Adrian at the coffee shop, completely by chance. "Hey, we need to talk," he said, voice hesitant, eyes searching mine. I felt my chest tighten, anger and uncertainty swirling inside me. "Talk," I repeated, keeping my tone calm. "I don't think there's anything left to say." He shook his head, looking desperate. "Please just hear me out. I messed up. I know I hurt you, but I love you. I swear." I crossed my arms. "Love? You hid everything, Adrian. You lied. And now you expect me to forgive you." He ran a hand through his hair, frustration evident. "I know I don't deserve it, but I can't lose you. I've realized how much I made a mistake." I took a deep breath, struggling to steady my voice. "Do you even understand what that means? What your betrayal did to me?" He stepped closer, lowering his voice. "I feel it every day. I think about you constantly. I want another chance." I shook my head slowly. "Chance? You don't get chances after breaking someone this completely." A sudden voice interrupted us. "Adrian, there you are." It was his sister, smiling nervously. She glanced at me, then at him. "I didn't realize you too." Adrian mumbled something, but I ignored it, focusing on him. "You've had everyone fooled, haven't you? Even your own family." I whispered, my fingers tightening around my bag. He flinched. "I never meant to hurt anyone, Stop," I said sharply. "Just stop." Every word now feels hollow. He sank onto a nearby bench, voice low. "I'll do anything. Anything to fix this." I sat across from him, looking directly into his eyes. "You can't fix what you've broken, Adrian. Not me, not trust, not the memories. That's gone. What's left now is me. Deciding how I move forward." I saw his face falter, the desperation clashing with the realization of his loss. "Please. I can be better," he pleaded. "I'll change." I shook my head, voice softening almost to myself. It's not about him anymore. It's about me. About regaining my life, my dignity. I pulled out my phone, scrolling to an old conversation I had thought lost. There it was, a deleted message from him that never sent. It read something simple, apologetic, but I hadn't needed it at the time. I stared at it, letting the symbolism sink in. Closure doesn't come from him, I whispered. It comes from knowing my worth. He looked at me, eyes full of pleading, but I no longer felt fear or longing. I wish you could forgive me, he said quietly. I can't, I said, standing. And I don't need to. I forgive myself for trusting, but you're not part of my path anymore. He swallowed hard, and I saw the weight of understanding settle over him. I walked out into the crisp evening air, letting the sunlight hit my face. Lily's words echoed in my mind. You're stronger than you think. Don't let him define your happiness. I smiled faintly, feeling a strange lightness. I realized that growth and self-respect mattered more than revenge or anger. The world felt wider, freer, and for the first time in months, I felt in control of my own story. I stepped into the new office for the first time, my chest tight but my mind determined. Welcome, you must be the new hire, a cheerful voice said. I looked up to see a woman with bright eyes and a warm smile. Yes, that's me, I replied, shaking her hand. I'm Rachel, your mentor here. Don't worry, you'll get the hang of things fast. I smiled, feeling a flicker of hope I hadn't felt in months. Thanks, I'm looking forward to learning. Lily called me later that day. So, how's the first day? She asked eagerly. Better than I expected, I admitted. Rachel's great. She's patient but firm, and I think I can really grow here. Lily's voice carried relief. I'm so proud of you. It's time you put yourself first. You deserve this. I laughed softly. I think I'm finally starting to believe that too. Over the next week, I worked long hours learning new skills and meeting colleagues. Don't be afraid to ask questions, Rachel said during a project meeting. Mistakes happen, but growth comes from trying. I nodded, internalizing her words. As I reviewed my notes later, I whispered to myself, this is my life now. I can build something solid again. The pang of memory for Adrian still lingered, but it no longer consumed me. One evening, my phone buzzed with a message from Lily. Dinner tomorrow? You deserve a night out. I smiled, typing back, absolutely. I could use some fun. At the restaurant, I laughed freely with friends, realizing how much I had missed genuine connection. I forgot how good it feels to just be happy, I said aloud. A friend nudged me playfully. You've been through a lot. You're allowed to feel this. I nodded, savoring the warmth of friendship and the ease of conversation. Later that week, Rachel pulled me aside. I've noticed your dedication, she said. You have a talent for strategy and organization. Have you thought about taking on more responsibility? I hesitated, then smiled. I'd love the challenge. I want to push myself. Her eyes gleamed. That's the spirit. Don't let anyone hold you back, especially yourself. I walked back to my desk, heart a little lighter. For the first time in months, I felt the thrill of possibility rather than fear. Walking home that evening, I thought about how far I had come. I'm not the same person who trusted blindly, I whispered. The pain of betrayal still lingered, a dull ache at times, but it no longer dictated my actions. I passed a bookstore and noticed a book on personal growth. I bought it impulsively, thinking, why not continue learning? Why not invest in myself? At home, I opened the book and read the first few pages aloud to the empty apartment. I can rebuild. I can thrive. I can be happy again. My phone buzzed with a notification. A message from Rachel with an invitation to a professional networking event. I smiled, typing back quickly. Count me in. A sense of anticipation filled me, the future suddenly seeming wide and full of possibilities. I sat back, letting the quiet settle around me. I whispered to myself, I'm rising from the ashes and I'm in control now. No one can take that away. The road ahead would have challenges and the scars would remain, but for the first time, I felt a deep, steady confidence in my own resilience and my ability to shape my life on my terms. I saw him standing near the park fountain, the same place we used to meet months ago. My chest tightened, but I forced myself to walk calmly. Adrian, I said, voice steady. He turned, surprise flashing across his face. I didn't expect to see you here, he stammered. I took a deep breath. I wanted to talk. One last time. He swallowed hard. Yeah, I guess we should. We sat on the bench, silent, stretching for a moment. Finally he spoke. I'm sorry. For everything. I know words can't fix it, but I wish I could take it all back. I nodded slowly. I know, I said softly. And I've spent months replaying every moment, questioning myself and holding on to anger. But I realized something important. I don't need to carry it anymore. He looked down, guilt written across his face. I never deserved your forgiveness, he murmured. Maybe not. But I'm not here to forgive you. I'm here to release myself from what's been holding me back. He lifted his eyes, searching mine. So you're okay? I smiled faintly, a sense of calm washing over me. I'm more than okay. I've grown. I've learned my worth, and I won't let anyone make me feel small again. That includes you. His lips trembled, and he nodded silently. I've been miserable, he admitted quietly. I know. I leaned back slightly, the cool breeze brushing my face. That was your choice, Adrian. And my choice was to survive it, to thrive beyond it. He swallowed again, voice tight. I wish I could explain why I did it. I shook my head gently. I don't need explanations. I understand human flaws, mistakes, and weaknesses. What I won't do is let them define me. He flinched slightly at my calm, composed tone. You've changed, he said quietly. I have, I admitted. I've chosen myself, my happiness, and my peace. That's something you should have respected all along. For a moment we sat in silence. I looked around the park, the sunlight reflecting off the fountain, thinking of how far I'd come. I forgive you, Adrian, I said softly. Not for you, but for me. I won't forget, but I don't need the weight of hate dragging me down anymore. He nodded, tears welling in his eyes. I don't deserve it, he whispered. I know, I replied, standing. But that's not the point anymore. I offered him a small, composed smile and turned to walk away. Each step felt lighter, freer, as though the months of pain were finally lifting. I whispered to myself, I am stronger than the heartbreak, wiser than the betrayal, and I will never let anyone dim my light again. The park stretched ahead, sunlight dancing across the paths, and for the first time, I felt whole, complete, resilient, and ready to embrace the life I had rebuilt. I woke up to sunlight spilling through my window, golden and warm, and I felt lighter. It wasn't an instant magic, but a quiet understanding that I had survived, that I had grown. I picked up my phone and noticed a message I had saved months ago, one Adrian had never sent me. I smiled faintly, reading it again. I hope one day you can forgive me. I whispered to myself. I did. Not for him, but for me. Lily called, cheerful as always. Morning. How are you feeling today? I stretched and yawned. I feel free, I admitted. Free is good, she said, laughter in her voice. You deserve more than just freedom. You deserve happiness. I nodded, holding the phone close. I think I'm ready to find that, Lily. Slowly, carefully, but ready. At the cafe later, I bumped into someone new. A man with kind eyes and an easy smile. Sorry about that, he said, steady and warm. I smiled back. No problem. I'm Sarah. David, he said, offering his hand. You're not from around here? Not really, I replied. Just trying a new place. He chuckled. Maybe we'll see each other again then? I felt a flutter in my chest I hadn't noticed in months. Maybe, I said softly, letting the moment linger without forcing anything. Walking home, I noticed a flower blooming near the edge of the sidewalk. Its bright petals stood strong against the concrete cracks. I knelt down and whispered, You're like me, growing despite everything trying to hold you back. A small smile touched my lips. The image stayed with me, a reminder that resilience can flourish even in the harshest places. Later that evening, I met Lily on the balcony, the sky painted with a sunset that set the clouds ablaze in pinks and golds. Look at that, I said quietly. It's beautiful. She leaned on the railing beside me. Just like you, Sarah. You're beautiful and you've endured so much. I took a deep breath, feeling the tension from months of heartache dissolve. I've learned that love isn't about possession or trust blindly. It's about respect, for others and for yourself. She smiled knowingly. Exactly. And now you can build a future where that respect stays intact. My phone buzzed. It was a reminder from the new job about tomorrow's meeting. I stared at the screen and realized how far I'd come. From betrayal to balance, I murmured. I've rebuilt my life one step at a time, and I'll keep moving forward. I sent a quick text to Lily. Thank you for being my anchor. Her reply was instant. Always. Now enjoy the sunrise of your life. That night I sat by the window, the city lights twinkling below. I thought about Adrian, and a quiet empathy replaced the lingering pain. I forgave, yes, but I wouldn't forget, and I wouldn't allow the scars to define me. I am stronger, I whispered. I am wiser. I am alive, and I am free. David's smile echoed in my mind, the flower and sunset lingering as symbols of rebirth. Maybe, just maybe, love could come again, but this time I would choose carefully, slowly, knowing my worth and my boundaries. I'm ready, I said aloud, soft but certain. Ready for life. Ready for happiness. Ready to embrace what's mine to claim. I leaned back, watching the city's skyline glow, and felt the weight of the past lift, leaving room for hope. The petals of the flower, the message saved on my phone, and the fiery sunset all whispered the same truth. Even after devastation, growth is possible. I smiled, a true smile, not forced or anxious but serene. Tomorrow would bring its challenges, but for the first time in a long while I knew I could face them. I was no longer the girl broken by lies. I was Sarah, the one who had endured, survived, and would flourish.